Hey everyone, today we want to talk about Zarya's role as the gatekeeper on defense, how she's able to block off a choke point and really cause an enemy team to second guess them pushing through this choke point, that she can create doubt in an enemy team, that she has this psychological effect that you have to stop attacking her when she pulls up her bubble, and usually this forces people to hesitate, to pull back slightly, and what this ends up doing is she can act as a doorway guard. This role is particularly good in maps like Hanamura that require an enemy team to come through this very narrow choke point, this very narrow gap, and it funnels all the players through this area, and if you can put a stopgap in there like Zarya, then it really makes the enemy team have to force their way through. And only a specific number of heroes are capable of this. Your job as Zarya in this role is essentially to make it so the heroes that are forced to come through this choke point, the ones that can't flank, the ones that can't have vertical mobility to get to certain areas. In Hanamura in particular, it's that small little doorway in the upper right. There's certain heroes that can get through that. You need to rely on your team to cover that flanking area because your job is to guard all the rest of the heroes trying to come through the main entrance. Zarya's main strength in this gatekeeper role is that she isn't affected by the same weaknesses that Reinhardt is in this particular area, that her bubble, her moment of invincibility, is a 360 effect, and an enemy team knows that if they put any fire on her bubble, that it just makes her that much stronger, that suddenly she goes from being a tank to being a damage dealer if she's able to get 100% charge. And this puts the fear of God into people, essentially, that they see that bubble come up and all fire either stops, or people do continue to fire on accident, or they don't know, and suddenly you become a killing machine. And so she has this surprising burst effect that is unpredictable. Reinhardt is stability. Reinhardt is all about, this is the line, I'm holding this line. I hope that my teammate is behind me, covering, putting fire through, and watching if people try to get through, but Reinhardt's very static. Zarya is dynamic. Zarya is able to have these surprise moments where suddenly she's there, she's invincible, and she's ready to be a killing machine. And if you don't pull back, if you don't hesitate as the attacker in that moment, you're getting yourself into trouble. If you're able to get good with her projected barrier, it also makes it so you essentially have two tanks on your team in this particular role, that you can go in with your invincibility bubble, force the enemy team to hesitate a second, get some charge on your damage, back out, then somebody else can go in, a McCree or somebody that's capable of huge short-range burst damage. You can project the barrier on them. Suddenly they take on that role, they take on that moment of hesitation, and they are capable of doing a lot more damage. Plus, if they get hit by damage, suddenly your damage spikes as well. You can rotate in and out in this role. A good companion for Zarya in a lot of these situations, especially on this first cap of Hanamura, is a Roadhog, because Roadhog essentially has this pop in and pop out capability anyway. If you give him the added benefit of having an invincibility shield for a second or two, and that boosts your damage because he's such a juicy target, then you guys can really hold this point. Finally, one of the greatest assets of Zarya in this gatekeeper role is her ultimate is excellent at pulling all the enemy team together to a point of vulnerability and getting a really easy to pull off team wipe. If the rest of your team is paying attention, they can use their ults at the same time, and you can really stop an enemy team's attacking momentum. So the next time you guys are playing defense on a map that has a clearly defined choke point, give Zarya a try. Her role in this gatekeeper is excellent, and she can really make a difference on a defending team. Good luck out there, guys, and I'll see you in game.